Hey beautiful people, welcome to Testimonial Thursdays, Seeds of Gratitude.
Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Shakima. I'm stopping in 9:09, interesting timing actually. I just wanted to stop in for today's Testimonial Thursdays to just plant my seeds of gratitude for this week, which when I woke up today, I almost felt like that wasn't going to be possible. I was about to go under Shadow Island, guys, and I'm going to explain to you guys what Shadow Island is in a minute. But I hope you guys are having an awesome day thus far. I hope that the kickoff to the Mercury retrograde period for you guys have been amazingly divine. And I hope that you guys have been enjoying the insights that I'm providing. That's why I was a little bit late stopping in here, actually. I was uploading the Virgo reading for you guys. So be sure to check those out because I spent a lot of my time yesterday getting those videos done for you guys. And I'm spending a lot of my time this evening getting them edited for you guys to get them uploaded for you guys. So be sure to check those out. So Testimonial Thursdays, this is just a place for us to plant our seeds, guys. I said a lot. I wish I had, I don't know if I've got my notes from last week. I don't know if I do have my notes. Okay, I do have my notes from last week. And it's interesting because some of the seeds that I planted last week had already started a process of manifesting this week. It was almost like God showed up to ask me about some of the things that we were going through, that we were learning. Well, that God was teaching me, that Spirit was teaching me through the elements, through the vibrations of others. And it's really given me a great insight into myself. So my first thing on my list today, guys, I've come prepared. Despite everything else that's been going on, despite my life feeling like chaos at the minute. It's settling, guys, it's settling. But my first thing for today is I am so grateful for God's little helpers. What do I mean by that? So I mentioned that I was about to go into Shadow Island today, right? I did, in the reading that I did for yesterday and today, I mentioned the fact that we'd be navigating through the emotion of anger. So when I say Shadow Island, I mean, to me, our ego is like an island. It is an island on its own. And sometimes when there are waves that pass by, depending on the moon cycles and whatever, organ that is triggering, that ego, known as Shadow Island, goes deep within the emotions, and that's when it becomes activated as Shadow Island. So it's just an island, but then when it goes beneath the surface of the emotions, it becomes Shadow Island. It becomes a place where it is very dark. It becomes a place where it feels like nothing makes sense. It becomes a place where even the most positive of experiences feels like a negative intention over your space, and things get very, very tricky, to say the least. So why I'm grateful for God's little helpers. I'm speaking about, when God speaks through other vessels to pass on a message. I do it a lot for other people, so it's always nice when God takes an opportunity to say, hey, I do care about you. Cut that out. You don't need to feel like you're alone because I'm everywhere and I'm all things, including you. So that was my first thing that I put on my list today, because I feel like that was very, very significant to me coming into this space, because coming in today, I kept saying to myself this morning when I woke up, because my spirit was perplexed, right? Something happened yesterday. Disappointment triggered my anger. And disappointment only happens when you have certain expectations of people, which is why it's good to practice healthy detachment, because other people are here living their own experience of themselves. They're here living as their own uniquely divine fractal of spirit as well. And they should be able to have the opportunity to do exactly that. So that disappointment for my child within triggered my anger, and I didn't want to sit in the anger because I felt like it was just very toxic for my vessel, considering that my vibration had been on a high scale for a good period of time, regardless of what was going on around me. So I went to sleep. I went to sleep it off, and I woke up with the very same vibration of anger, which just continued to, roll and roll and roll off my aura. And it was interesting because, again, whenever I'm angry, it just goes back to exactly the same thing. Resistance to my circumstances, resistance to why my ego feels like it needs this instant gratification. I explained to you guys last time, just because I see doesn't mean it's any easier for me. If anything, it makes it more challenging because I see what's to come for me. I understand what's there. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel of the wave that I'm under, but my ego still is an ego. So it still yearns for instant gratification. And I think being in a position where others can come and stop in and just pay their due diligence for times that I had shown up for them, it was just great to just see that God is sat there taking notes, and karma is there making sure that, whatever I'm putting into the good karma bank, I'm receiving as a result of that, which is why sometimes it's important to give without the expectation of receiving, because you will receive when you least expect it. And that's another thing that I learned today, just from the gratitude of being in a place where I can just be open and vulnerable and present in my experience of the anger. So God's little helpers who showed up for me today, you know who you are. You just kind of stopped into the space to say, hey, you've got this. And I did it, definitely still do appreciate it, because that helped me to talk my ego down off Shadow Island, and then my ego is able to come up for air again. And it was able to give me an opportunity to reset things in my vibration for the day. My second thing on my list today is I'm grateful for new opportunities. So I did a radio interview with SLR Radio today, and there's still so much more to come with not only that, but just other stuff that, you know, people are actually being able to see the value of what I do, because for a lot of people, it's easy to just come into the space and say, hey, I'm broken. Do you want to help me fix myself? And because I love what I do, because I'm passionate about what I do, I'm like, sure. But that then leaves my ego at a place where it is depleted. It takes a lot of energy for me to look into someone's space. It takes a lot of openness for me to become a companion on someone else's journey, and I literally open my avatar to being an open receptor to their experience and tapping into their frequency, their radio channel, their vibration, to be able to, you know, help them process whatever it is that they're going through. And I think because of my utter joy for everything that I do, sometimes I forget to make sure that I'm protected in the process, make sure that I'm content in the process, make sure that I'm giving and receiving as a equal intention in the universe, because when you give, you're supposed to receive. That's the whole point. That's why death brings new life. So I learnt from that experience. I continue to learn that lesson, honestly, because I'm such a giver. So it's something that I'm sure I will continue to work at, because even when I work at it for myself, what I learnt was that there were still things that I'm carrying within myself that isn't even necessarily mine. So what I learned with that situation was that, you know, that particular aspect of my vibration, of the shadows within myself. So we have like 80% of what's considered to be junk DNA, but it's not actually junk. Hey, Bernie, you are actually one of my God's little helpers. You were on the first list of things that I'm grateful for today. Actually, God's little helpers just showing up when I was about to go under Shadow Island, and I almost felt like I didn't have anything to be grateful for today. And then God just showed up and said, hey, like, you're not alone. There are people here with you. You guys are doing this collectively together. We are doing this as a collective. You are me, we are us. And it really did help me to be able to just receive the love in the space, and it helped me to just give my ego an opportunity to take a breath and come up from Shadow Island. And embrace my new opportunities that were sort of coming, because I was just sort of explaining, I had the radio interview today, and I was really trying to shake that vibration of the lower frequency of anger. But I'm grateful for the new opportunities that are coming, because it gives me an opportunity to, again, what I learned about myself in the experience of that was that I can't ask for someone to give to me what I'm not already giving to myself. So what I learned was that my ego was being challenged by my sense of lack of self-worth, lack of value that I placed on myself, expecting for other people to see the value in what I do and what I can bring to the table when I don't even see it. And that was one of the things that I realized today, because people ask me all the time, oh, what do you do? And I have no easy way to say what I do, because there's a part of me that still shies away from saying, I'm 4th generation psychic, and I see into people's subconscious mind to assist them with navigating through their timelines and removing whatever clouding there is. And it's interesting for me, because the only way that I can even begin to peel back the layers of that and digress that to people is by saying to people, look, I went to church one day and God, you know, was in the space, and I opened myself up. I said to God, I want to be used as a vessel. And God did exactly that. And since then, I was able to be open to the process of exactly that. And it's easier for me to put that across to people than just saying that I'm 4th generation psychic, because people don't even actually understand what it means to be a psychic. We're all actually psychic. Newsflash, we're all psychic, guys. Some people are just more attuned than others. We all have psychic abilities. We all have the ability to tune into somebody else's radio station frequency channel. It's just that some people are more open than others. Some people are more receptive than others. Some people's heart center are more open than others, because again, newsflash, the way to be psychic isn't a mental thing. It's actually a heart-to-heart connection thing. You have to have your heart open, because that is how you tap in. That is how you tune into other people's space, and you receive what you tune into within your mind space. So psychic interaction isn't actually a mind-to-mind interaction. It's a heart-to-heart interaction that is perceived through the mind's eye. So again, I would have to go through the whole process of breaking that down to people to be able to explain exactly what it is that I do. And there has been a part of me that was a little bit I guess, insecure. I was a little bit conscious about it. I didn't know how people would receive me in saying it. I didn't want to appear crazy to people because I know like people have their whole stigma about these things where it's really just a lack of education. It really is just ignorance bleeding out externally, because instead of asking questions, oh, what does that mean to you? People just put whatever their preconceived conditions are on the word, and then all of a sudden the perspective that I have isn't necessarily the perspective that they have. But if somebody would ask, they may actually be able to gain some insight and perspective into why I look at things in the way that I do. And I guess the new opportunities that are coming are hopefully to give me an opportunity to continue to educate others in areas that we are not as educated about ourselves. Educate others in a sense of knowing who we are as a human avatar, how to work the human avatar, how to tune into other avatars, how to embrace their own psychic gifts, because we all have them. Like I said, we all have different senses spiritually. We're so focused on our 5 physical senses when we actually have 8, spiritual senses. And if we can actually take the time to attune into those senses and fine tune those senses, it would really give us an opportunity to be more of a collective, be more of, find myself getting emotional. I'm not going to cry, guys. I'm going to try not to. But it would really give us an opportunity to be a lot more united as a collective. And I think that's why I'm grateful for the new opportunities, because I want to be able to give others an opportunity to embrace this human experience as much as I have. The light and darkness of it, guys, because like I said, just because I see things doesn't mean it's any easier for me. It just means that I can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. And again, that is because I walk every single aspect of my journey in faith, knowing that there is a higher power, knowing that there is a divine spirit that has the greatest intentions for me. I'm going to wave at you guys, by the way. My bad. Hey, thank you for joining into the space. Take this as an opportunity as well, guys, to plant your own seeds of gratitude. Don't just kind of listen to me ramble on. This is just an open space where I've really just, take the time to put out there into the universe what I'm grateful for the week that's kind of transpired thus far. So plant your own seeds, because it definitely does sort of manifest itself. Every week when I do this, the seeds that I plant actually starts to nurture and grow by the time I come into this space the following Thursday. So take the opportunity to do the same. My third thing on my list today, guys, is practicing self-love and letting my self-worth shine. Oh my God. So this has been a very, very big one for me, because, we all talk about self-love, but what does that mean? What does that even look like? How do I love myself? A lot of the times people assume that that is the external, and that is, taking care of the exterior, and they forget about the internal. And I say it all the time. People will make the putrid infestations that they have going on the inside, they'll make that look pretty on the outside and assume that everything is fine. They assume that if they look good, then they're going to feel good. I'll tell you something. You may look good, but on the inside, you're still dying. Your soul is dying. Your spirit is dying. Absolutely, Bernie. Your spirit is dying on the inside, because your spirit is saying to you, yes, I look good today. Yes, I look pretty today. But I'm dying of disappointment. I am dying of guilt. I am dying of sorrow. I am dying of lack of self-worth. And because we're placing all of our worth on the external reflection of ourselves, guess what? People are going to show up and they're going to value for what you are able to bring to the table based on your external. And then when you want them to look at you deeper, when you want them to see you at the deepest elements of yourself, they cannot see that, because the vibration of the people that you have brought into your experience, they only want to see you for the surface of what you appear to be on the outside. They have no intention of seeing you beneath the surface of what you appear to be on the outside, because that's where you were when you pulled them into your experience. That's where you were when you actually brought them into your experience. And the self-love that you're looking for externally is really something that you should be yearning for internally, yearning in seeking and trying to find. Because the reality is, I was actually saying 80% of our DNA is considered junk DNA, but it's not junk. It is shadow DNA. It is DNA that is passed down through our genes, through our lineage. It's basically what they read when they're like, oh, this person has diabetes. There's diabetes running your family. This person has cancer. There's cancer running your family. The reality is you are carrying the DNA of those cancer cells and traits. All it takes is a simple activation of that DNA. And what happens is that when you go through a process of not processing emotions, so for somebody that sort of finds themselves activating their cells of diabetes, that's somebody that is yearning for affection. That is somebody that is going without affection. And it's not just an external affection that they're seeking, it's an internal affection. It's that void of affection that they're seeking internally that is not being filled within themselves, because they may not be willing to vocalize that externally. Or they may not even know how to communicate, hey, I actually do want a hug today. Or, they feel like they don't want to be vulnerable in that way, to say, hey, the other day you kind of stopped in and you didn't even, acknowledge me. You didn't give me a hug, a kiss on the cheek, anything. And those are some of the things. The longer we keep those feelings suppressed within ourselves, the more likely we are to activate those DNA cells, because it is already who we are within, because that is the genes of our predecessors. We are literally physical manifestations of our parents' cells, guys. So whatever cell it was, whatever egg you were, and whatever, sperm cell you came from, as far as your father's vibration, we are literally a vibrational manifestation of their genetic cells. So when somebody is finding themselves in situations where, and I hear it all the time, like as soon as that word, like people are so scared of the word cancer, and that's something that genuinely makes me sad, because it's almost like this ailment has taken control and people are in fear of it. People are living in fear of their power, not realizing that, hey, I actually activated this cell by not processing my grief. A lot of the times when we have unprocessed grief, it's actually wrapped up in worry. And there's layers to our emotions. And I guess that's where I come in, and that's where I can actually help people to peel back the layers of their emotions, because they're like, oh, I'm sad about this. And I'm like, sad isn't necessarily all the way true. How you're expressing it is sadness, but really what's going on is that you're disappointed about how this situation transpired. So we don't even know how to name our emotions at this point of our experience, because we haven't really allowed for ourselves to be that involved with ourselves. We don't actually know who we are. And because of that, we continue to perpetuate the cycle. And it's not just us that has to deal with this. This is also something that the generation beyond us will have to deal with, because like I said, it's our DNA. Just like we receive the DNA of our parents and their parents and their parents, they are going to receive our DNA as well. So we kind of have to go through a process of making sure that we are effectively processing these things. So that is why I am happy to be at a place where I'm practicing self-love, so that I can let my self-worth shine through. With the self-love situation, it gives me an opportunity to alchemize any low vibrational reflections within my DNA, so that my lineage doesn't have to continue to suffer from the same sort of ailments that I've had to be faced with dealing with. So it's really, really been a bit of a challenge, to say the least, but I'm grateful that I'm at a place where I'm open to continuing the practice, and I'm letting the beauty of it shine in my value and worth that I place upon myself, so that the world can also equally see me at the same value that I'm placing on myself. My fourth thing that I'm grateful for today, I am just grateful to be comfortable in loving myself. As I started the process of self-love maybe 2-3 years ago, and I didn't practice self-love on the external, because I did that for like maybe 10 years and I realized that I actually really didn't love myself. I was just giving people a mask so that they could feel comfortable and secure in loving me. So when I actually started practicing self-love about 2-3 years ago, I wasn't so comfortable with it, if I'm completely honest. I didn't know how it was going to pan out. I lost a lot of people along the way, but clearly those were people that were more comfortable with me wearing the mask, and that's fine too, because I brought them in to my experience whilst I was in that vibration, not comfortable, not secure, not owning who I am. So I can't be mad at them. I can only be open to understanding and accepting my thoughts in the situation and my wrongdoings and my flaws in the situation. It is not for me to judge anybody else based on their own experience of me, because we're all here doing this whole human thing, and it's not easy. And judgment is just us projecting the things that we don't want to accept about ourselves, basically. So we decide to project it at someone else and say, I don't like you because you're bitter. And it's like, maybe I have some bitterness inside me too. And that's what I don't want to acknowledge. So next time you decide to point the finger at someone, maybe take that into consideration, that you're really pointing the finger at yourself, but you're refusing to take accountability for the things that you are actually at fault for. And you are choosing, hey, beautiful, this is my second God's little helper for today. You're on my list of things. Ow. You're on my list of things, my number one today. But yeah, the comfort of practicing the self-love and loving myself has given me an opportunity to find my voice. And there was a point where my voice was like the most quietest voice in my head in comparison to all the bigger voices of like all these people that were planting seeds in my subconscious mind, and their opinions and their doubt projected over my space of creating. And now I'm at a place where my voice is the loudest, and when their stuff shows up, I can continue to soldier through. It doesn't mean that I don't fall ill to the vibration of the things that they project. I absolutely do, because I'm human, and that's how the human avatar works. But I still continue to soldier through. I still continue to do my work, and I still continue to take it as an opportunity to look at myself in a mirror and see what I can do differently, and how I can change my perspective and change something about myself so that I can embrace my experience in another vibration. Because sometimes we're so keen to like change other people, and we're so keen to, change our experience, but we're not actually willing to change ourselves. And that is the first point of making any change in the world. It's really a case of changing the vibrational setting of yourself, of your intention, of your heart space, because your heart center actually emits a vibration up to 10 feet outside of the body. So up to 10 feet outside of yourself, you're already experiencing yourself, and you have to clear that bit by bit to actually be able to embrace all of the beauty that you're actually creating for yourself. So that's my fourth thing. I'm comfortable in living and loving myself. I have to shape myself into that, guys, because I can even still feel some discomfort with it, because it's, like I said, it's a process and I'm still getting comfortable with it. But I am ready, willing, and open to continue the open dialogue with self so that we can continue to be effective communicators about the journey that we're experiencing. And my fifth thing that I am grateful for. So this journey for me started back in 2016, where, I don't know, Spirit planted a seed in my mind, Spirit planted a seed in my intention, and there was a point where I was like, I want to start a human race campaign. And that was what really led me down this path. That was what really, guided me along this journey that I've been on. And again, today, that intention just showed up again, letting me know that I shouldn't forget the actual seed that has been nurturing this entire journey into manifestation. Conscious Connections campaign, I had an actual Instagram, and it was all godly stuff that I was posting every single day, but it was misrepresenting the intention of what I was trying to put across to people. What I sat down and I said to myself today is that, people are so busy, right, talking about my people and my community and my reflection of people, and the way that I look at the situation is that if there are people in the world that are suffering, they are your people. And they are suffering. To me, why I wanted to, put across a human race campaign, because I feel like we have all of these segregated aspects of humanism, all of these different segregated aspects of what it means to be a human in today's society, right? Race isn't a vibration of melanin. It's not. It really isn't. Melanin is the God code. Melanin is in everything. Melanin is in every single conscious. This lovely little light has melanin. It's just something that we use. It's like information receptors that we're able to utilize to be able to have the experience of our human self. It's just something that we're able to use to perceive. But people, again, through miseducation, use this as something to abuse themselves and abuse others and put themselves on pedestals and take others and throw them under the bus. And I'm just like, it's called the human race. And the hue is reference to the fact that we are a colorful spectrum of one race, which is people. People, guys. But we're so busy trying to, put all of these different spins on things. We're so busy trying to talk about my people and this community is mine. And don't get me wrong, I think that is a beautiful sentiment. But as long as we continue to do that, we will continue to be a segregated population of people. And we will continue to be fragmented in our own cultural differences, because that's all it is. We're one race of people with many different cultures. That is it. That is my perspective of the human race. And I think, yes, a lot of us are fighting for our right to be able to experience our culture, our right to be able to live in the experience and vibration of our culture. So let it be that, versus this is my people because they have a certain tone of melanin. It just blows my mind, because to me, that's just such a level of ignorance that I'm not saying that I'm better than. I just think that I've sat with God for long enough to know that this isn't my only lifetime, and I have been in many other different shades and colors and spectrums of melanin. So to be able to put myself in one particular bracket and say that this is, the definition of my people. If there's suffering in the world, dude, my people are suffering. It doesn't matter what shade of melanin you are. It doesn't matter what other circumstances you have culturally that is a little bit different to mine. That is how you experience your human experience here in this lifetime. That's it. That's the only difference. For me, I look at it as animals. Animals are a race, and so are people. I think we get so fixed on this melanin concepts of things, we forget that everybody is a part of the experience that we're having. And because of that, we don't know how to show up in somebody else's experience. And a lot of the times we're busy fighting for our cultural experience of our human venture here. We don't actually realize that that's really what we're fighting for. That's the voice that we're fighting to be heard. Instead, we just put a label on it and say, Black Lives Matter. I come into the room, I say, all lives matter, and people are like, shut up. No, it doesn't. And I'm like, but how am I any different to the people that said to me that Black lives didn't matter? It is exactly the same vibration. And that is why we continue to live in a world that perpetuates this cycle of segregation versus unification. Because we're not actually willing to unite. We're willing to continue to live amongst our people. And our people, from what we can see within ourselves, is a vibrational set of melanin tone. And that just doesn't resonate with me. I understand that, God's quest for us is bigger than that. That's the only way that I can put it. And I think even sort of like feeling that intention reset in my heart space again today just reminded me of why I was so passionate to even start this experience in the first place. Now I'm going to get emotional. But it really gave me an opportunity to put things back into perspective, because I do want for my children and their children and theirs and theirs and theirs and theirs to grow up in a world that is free from judgment just because of a vibration of melanin. Because it is simply something that we use to perceive each other. It has the most relevance and the least significance all at the same time. But people get so fixed in their ego. People get so fixed in their experience. They think that they stand for something to say, I'm going to be the one to help my people. Guess what? Your people are the human race. There is only one race of people. Always has been. That is the biggest lie we've ever been told. The biggest lie we have ever been told, to continue to keep us segregated and separated from ourselves. Because guess what? Each and every one of us is a like-for-like reflection of the other. That's why we come in and out of each other's experience as a mirror reflection of each other. Because outside of whatever the shade of melanin is, guess what? People come into your experience regardless. And they don't have to be a shade of melanin that you perceive to be your people. That's just the experience of your vibration. So when we talk about our people, I would like for us to get to a place where we can experience our people as one race of people. And it's interesting because I grew up back home in Jamaica, and the motto back home, which is interesting as well because I'm sure that they consider a certain race of people to be their people, but the motto back home is, we are many, one people. And I keep that close to my heart because as a child, I didn't really understand what that means. But as an adult, I now have my own concept, my own perspective of that. And I understand that as a collective, we are all many, one people. There is only one race of people, and that is the human race. There are many shades and tones of melanin, and that is the beauty of the hue in the man and the race within it. That is it. And I think that is the thing that I'm probably most grateful for, reconnecting to that intention in my heart. Because when Spirit reminded me, it was like Spirit nudged me on the shoulder as I was walking home today and was like, don't forget that contract that we had. You said that you wanted to go on this journey 3 years ago because you wanted to create a human race campaign, and it was something that you were passionate about. Did you forget? And I was like, I didn't forget, but as I've seen, how difficult and challenging it may be, I don't know. I felt like it was just easier to blend into something that already exists. And Spirit was like, well, that's why I can't say that's why I chose you, but that is what the conversation was. That's why I chose you, to be able to actually embrace this chapter, to be able to embrace this path, because again, I'm going to get emotional, because my heart center is big and open, and when I asked God to use me as a vessel, I genuinely meant it. Like, I had no limitations on what God was asking for me. I think even when the ask feels a little bit too big or too challenging, I'm like, can I get some help, please? Can I get some insight? Show me how to help us as I navigate through this wave. But when Spirit said that to me today, I simply sat and I said to myself, I'm going to make it happen. I know that it's going to be difficult. I know that it's going to be challenging. But like I said, there is something on my heart that wants for my children and their children and theirs and theirs and theirs and theirs and theirs to be in a world where we are united, free of this perspective of our people based on a shade and tone of melanin. Because they've been many other races in many other lifetimes. And it's important that they can actually get an opportunity to come into this space and have that experience to the fullest of its capacity. As long as we continue to perceive our people through the lenses of the vibration of melanin that they hold in their cellular, molecular makeup, then we'll never be able to get to that place where we're united, unfortunately. And we will continue to stay segregated. And we will continue to assume that we are helping our people, failing to realize that there is only one race of people, and that is the human race. So I'm going to make it happen. That's the fifth thing on my list that I'm grateful for. I'm glad that God reminded me of why I decided to embark on this journey, why I've been so passionate, why I've been so tiresome. Even when I want to give up, I keep going. And even when I feel like I have nothing left, I continue to give, because it's bigger than just my race of people, because my race of people is a human race of people. And don't get me wrong, I think it's beautiful, anybody that is standing up for their cultural tribe of people. That there's a difference. I think we have been doctrined to perceive we've been doctrined to perceive the actual human race as a cultural separation, and that's really what we're fighting for. Like I said, we're fighting for our right to experience our cultural differences, and that's fine, but let it be that. It doesn't have to be based on a shade of melanin, because that is the most ignorant thing that we could ever do, not just to ourselves, but to the generations that are here now beneath us, growing up, looking up to us to be able to give them examples that they can work from, give them constructs of life that they can work towards for themselves, and the generations that aren't yet here, that's just a disservice. It's a disservice to the entire human race, guys. And I just want to be able to take an opportunity to do my part. Which brings me to the close. I'm so sorry, guys. I've literally just talked so much in the space, but it brings me to the closing of the space, which is, I wanted to do something for the homeful. I don't like the word homeless, because it's a negative vibration. It's taking away from people that are already without a stable roof. So I want to do a homeful event, and with that homeful event, it's to be able to basically, fundraise to bring, I guess, equipment to people that are sleeping rough for this winter. Duvets, sleeping bags, fruits, just little things that we take for granted for us people that, I'm not saying it's easy for us either. I know that a lot of us do struggle every single day to make things happen. But that's the intention of the event, to be able to put on a fundraising event. That's going to be taking place on the 30th of November. Spirit sat me down today and said, look, this is happening. You need to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. And it's just an event where I'll be actually educating people on how somebody who is in that seat at the event can go from being there to being homeless on the street. Because it's very, very easy to have that shift of dynamic. Very easy. It actually takes one, I'm not going to say wrong decision, because every decision is right, but it just takes one low vibrational decision to get you from sitting in a seat in that event to being outside the streets and being somebody that is benefiting from the event. So this shall be the start of the Conscious Connections campaign. It used to be conscious, but con has negative connotations on it. It really means to, basically con somebody out of something for your own hidden agendas and motives, and that's not my intention. So it's conscious, because conscious is all about self-counseling. And that's what I'd be doing in the space of the event, giving people an opportunity to embrace their self-counsel with spirit, with God, with the divine, to be able to open their hearts to others, open their hearts to their experience, and open their hearts to the lives of other people's experiences of them. So I'll have more info on that when I'll give you guys more info when I have more info, because this is something that's very fresh, guys. It's just something that Spirit placed upon my heart today, and I'm going to make it happen. So I hope to see every awesome heart and vibration in the room that is really open to embracing this human race experience, so that we can make it better for our children and theirs and theirs and theirs. Oh, that's pretty much it, guys. If you've got any seeds that you want to plant in this space, definitely take an opportunity to do so. I'm sure me even just putting that out there today, there'll be some sort of developments on the events. More than likely, probably by tomorrow. I know what I'm like. I'm like a dog with a bone when Spirit plants a seed within me. So I know that it will be developed. But take this as an opportunity to plant any seeds that you want to put out into the Ethernet. Anything that you want for, the universe to assist you with. Anything that you want the universe to know that you're grateful for, so that you can receive more of it in abundance. Take this final little space as an opportunity to do exactly that, and watch your seeds, nurture them and watch them grow. As long as you continue to do the nurturing aspects of your farming, you'll be surprised to see the forest that you have by the end of 2019, because there's still so much more to come. I will continue to upload the videos for you guys tonight. Don't worry, guys. I got y'all. I'm probably going to be uploading pretty much for the next couple of hours. This was supposed to be a half an hour situation at the most, but clearly there was a lot on my heart to be able to relate to you guys. So yeah, I will keep getting the videos up for you guys for tonight, and check out my YouTube channel as well, because I'm now doing weekly astro forecasts on there as well, so that you guys can get some insight at the start of the actual week. So that you can actually see okay, this is what's transpiring here, here, here. This is what I'm looking out for, whilst I also do the daily oracle guidance for you guys on my IG. Okay, also another thing that is going to be sort of taking place as well, that Spirit advised me of today. I do have a Patreon channel where people can actually become patrons as well. If that's something you guys are interested in, 50% of the proceeds will be going to my non-profit projects to actually help people that are struggling with mental challenges as well, because that's my forte. That is where I come in and do whatever I do. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, stay tuned. Okay, guys? I'm going to love you guys and leave you guys there. I will see you guys next Thursday. I will try and make it shorter next time, guys. And I will try and come a little bit less emotional, but I can't promise anything, okay? Because we're in the Mercury retrograde, effective as of now. So forgive me, beloveds, okay? But I'm sending you love, light, and positive intentions as per usual. I will see you guys next week. If I don't see you guys before then, God bless and a shame. Stay chill, guys.
That's all, folks. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more.